Why credit cards can make you rich or ruin you, depending on one habit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have a disease going on in this country. And it's not the kind you catch from a stranger sneezing on you at the grocery store. It's the kind that shows up in a little plastic rectangle sitting in your wallet right now. And here's the number that should scare you. The average American household carrying a balance owes over $6,000 in credit card debt, and they're paying north of 20% interest on it. 20%. That's not a fee. That's a tax on not understanding how money works. But here's the twist, and this is the part nobody wants to talk about. The same piece of plastic that's bankrupting your neighbor might be quietly making somebody else richer. Same card, same bank, same interest rate sitting there in the fine print. So what's the difference? I'm going to tell you, and it comes down to exactly one habit. Just one. Get this one thing right, and a credit card becomes one of the most powerful wealth-building tools you'll ever hold. Get it wrong, and it becomes the thing that follows you around for a decade, whispering in your ear every time you check your bank account. I mean, I used to think credit cards were the enemy, straight up. I thought the only responsible thing to do was cut them up, live on cash, and never look back. And for some people, honestly, that's still the right call. I'll get to that. But the more I studied how wealthy people actually use money, the more I realized I had it backwards. So let's break this down properly.
Here's the myth. Credit cards are bad. Debit cards and cash are good. That's the popular belief, and I get why. It feels safer to only spend what you already have. But the reality is a little more layered than that. A credit card isn't good or bad. It's neutral. It's a tool. The same way a kitchen knife is neutral. In the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing, it cuts vegetables for dinner. In the hands of somebody who doesn't, somebody gets hurt. The truth is, the entire credit card industry is built on a bet. A bet that most people will not pay their balance in full every single month. That's not an accident. That's the business model. Companies make roughly $120 billion a year in the US alone, just from interest and fees on cards. That number isn't coming from thin air. It's coming from real people in real financial stress, making minimum payments and watching their balance barely move. So today, I want to walk you through exactly how this works, why the wealthy treat credit cards completely differently than everybody else does, and the one habit that separates credit card built my credit score and got me free flights to Tokyo from credit card ruined 3 years of my life. I'm going to break this down into 5 parts. First, the one habit that decides everything. Second, my own story with credit cards, including a mistake that cost me real money. Third, the psychological trick credit card companies use against you. Fourth, how to actually flip the script and make a card work for you. And fifth, who should absolutely not be using credit cards at all. Because I'm not here to sell you something that isn't right for your situation.
Chapter 1. The one habit. All right, let's get right to it. The habit is this. Pay your statement balance in full every single month, no exceptions. That's it. That's the whole secret. It sounds almost too simple, but stick with me, because the mechanics behind it are what make it powerful. When you pay your balance in full by the due date, most credit cards give you what's called a grace period, meaning you pay 0 interest on your purchases. 0. You're essentially borrowing the bank's money for up to 30 days for free, while you build purchase protection, extended warranties, cash back, points, and a credit history that will save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime through lower interest rates on cars and homes. The moment you carry a balance past that due date, even $5, the grace period disappears and interest starts compounding daily on your entire balance. Not just the $5 you didn't pay, the whole thing. That's the mechanism most people don't understand, and it's the difference between the card working for you and the card working against you. Chapter 2. My own story. I want to be honest with you, because I always try to be honest with you. I didn't understand this back when I first got a credit card in college. I was maybe 19, working a job that paid me $8 an hour, and I got approved for my first card with a $500 limit. I felt like I'd hit the jackpot. I bought stuff I didn't need. Nothing crazy, but new shoes, a few dinners out, some stuff for my apartment. And I told myself I'd pay it off soon. Soon turned into 4 months, and by the time I actually looked at what I owed, I had accumulated almost $90 in interest on things I honestly couldn't even remember buying anymore. $90 doesn't sound like a lot until you remember I was making $8 an hour. That was basically half a day of work gone for nothing. No new possession, no memory, nothing. Just gone into a bank's pocket because I didn't understand the one habit. That was my wake-up call. And it's the same story I hear from so many of you in the comments. It's rarely one giant reckless purchase. It's usually a slow drift. A little bit here, a little bit there. I'll pay it next month. Until next month becomes never. Chapter 3. The Psychological Trick. Here's something the industry doesn't advertise. Minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt as long as legally possible. If you only pay the minimum on a typical card balance, it can take over 15 years to pay off, and you can end up paying more in interest than the original amount you spent. Credit card companies also use something researchers call the minimum payment anchor. Studies have shown that just seeing a low minimum payment listed on your statement makes people pay less overall than if no minimum was shown at all, because our brains treat that number as the acceptable amount, even when we can afford more. It's not that people are careless, it's that the system is quietly engineered to nudge you toward paying less. This is the part where I usually see comments saying, well, then just don't use credit cards at all. And look, I understand the instinct, but avoiding the tool entirely means missing out on one of the few free wealth-building mechanisms actually available to regular working people. The goal isn't to avoid the system. It's to understand it well enough that it can't be used against you. Chapter 4. How to flip the script. So let's talk about the actual system, step by step, because I always believe in giving you something you can act on today, not just information to feel smart about. Step 1. Pick one card and only one when you're starting out. Not 5. 1. Simplicity beats complexity when you're building a habit. Step 2. Only put on the card what you already have sitting in your checking account. Treat it exactly like a debit card in your head. The plastic is just a delivery method for money you already own. Step 3. Set up autopay for the full statement balance, not the minimum. This is the single biggest fail-safe you can build because it removes willpower from the equation entirely. You are never one busy week away from missing a payment. Step 4. Check your statement once a week, just for 2 minutes, to catch anything unusual and to keep your spending anchored to reality rather than out of sight, out of mind. Step 5. Once that habit is locked in for 3 or 4 months and it feels boring, genuinely boring, not exciting, that's when you know you've built the system correctly. If it still feels exciting or risky, you're not ready to add a second card yet. That's the waterfall. Foundation first, habit second, optimization, points, cashback, travel rewards, dead last. Most people do this backwards. They chase the rewards first and build the discipline? Never.
Chapter 5. Who should not do this? Now, I want to be the honest friend here, not the guy selling you a dream. If you currently have credit card debt you're struggling to pay off, if you find yourself anxious every time you check your balance, or if you know, really know, deep down, that you tend to spend more when you're not using physical cash, then a credit card is not the right tool for you right now. Full stop. There is zero shame in that. Cutting up the card, moving to cash or debit, and rebuilding your relationship with money first is the more disciplined move, not the weaker one. The wealthiest habit isn't using credit cards. It's knowing yourself well enough to pick the tool that actually fits who you are today.
So here's what I want you to walk away with. Money equals options. And the entire point of a tool like this is to give you more options, not fewer. A credit card used with one simple habit, paying in full every single time, becomes a quiet, boring, unglamorous machine that builds your credit, protects your purchases, and occasionally even pays for your flights. Used without that habit, it becomes the exact same machine working against you, one missed payment at a time. 2 lessons I want to leave you with. 1, the system isn't designed to reward carelessness, but it will happily let you be careless if you let it. And 2, financial peace rarely comes from one big dramatic decision. It comes from one small, boring habit, repeated until it's no longer a decision at all. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped you look at that card in your wallet a little differently, you know what to do. Give this video a watch next if you want to see exactly how I built my emergency fund on a low income. That one pairs perfectly with what we just talked about. And with that, muchas gracias.